D-A-day, D-E-D, D-I-dicky-di, D-O-do, dicky-di-do, D-U-do, dicky-di-do-do. F-A-F-A, F-B-B, F-I-Ficky-Fi, F-O-Fo, Ficky-Fi-Fo, F-U-Foo, Ficky-Fi-Fo-Foo. G-A-J, G-E-G, G-I-Jicky-Jai, G-O-Jo, Jicky-Jai-Jo, G-U-Ju, Jicky-Jai-Jo-Ju, la-da-da-da.
Hi, in this video I'm going to be talking about the differences between consonant stem and I-stem endings in the third declension. You may remember that the third declension is split between nouns and adjectives that are consonant stems and nouns and adjectives that are I-stems. They have slightly different endings, and we're going to be talking about the differences between those endings in this video. Let's start by looking at a typical set of masculine consonant stem endings. This is the word for, which is the very first consonant stem you learn, and here it is declined. For, forum, fores, furi, fure, fures, fures, furum, furibus, furibus. For, the nominative, has no particular ending identified, but in the rest of these words, the ending is identified by being in red. Of course, the nominative doesn't really have a clear ending in the third declension, so I'm not going to even try to identify one. But these are the standard consonant stem endings for a masculine noun. But that also means they're also the standard endings for a feminine noun, because in any given declension, masculine and feminine nouns always decline alike. So third declension consonant stems that are masculine decline exactly like third declension consonant stems that are feminine. So I could have used a feminine noun instead of a masculine noun here, but I used the masculine noun. Those are the endings. Now let's look at a neuter consonant stem noun to get neuter consonant stem endings. Here's the word nomen, which is a neuter consonant stem. Nomen, nomen, nominus, nomini, nomine, nomina, nomina, nominum, nominibus, nominibus, okay? In red here are the standard neuter consonant stem endings, okay? Of course, the nominative has no clear ending, and because the nominative has to be the same as the accusative for neuter nouns, that's also true of the accusative of this word, so there's no clear ending here. But there are clear endings here for consonant stem neuters here, okay? If we take the endings of for, and we take the endings of nomen, we can construct a chart of the consonant stem endings, including singular and plural, and within the singular masculine and feminine endings, as represented by the endings of for, and neuter endings as represented by the word nomen, and similarly, consonant stem endings for masculine and feminine as represented by the word for, and neuter consonant stem endings as represented by nomen, and we wind up with this chart. So here's the masculine and feminine singular, the neuter singular, masculine and feminine plural, and the neuter plural. Those are the standard consonant stem endings in the third declension. And they're used for adjectives and they're used for nouns. Now let's move on to the I-stem endings. I've chosen the word kiwis, which is a masculine I-stem. Again, I could have chosen a feminine I-stem because it would give me the same information, because feminine I-stems and masculine I-stems decline exactly the same. But I happen to choose a masculine. I use the word kiwis. So we have kiwis, kiwin, kiwis, kiwi. Now there's a problem here in the ablative. Y'all may remember that the standard I-stem ending in the ablative singular is long I, but nouns, and only nouns, adjectives don't do this, but, and actually it's only masculine and feminine nouns that matter. Masculine and feminine nouns that are I-stems in the third declension tend to have the consonant stem form in the ablative singular, not the I-stem form, okay? So they're a little bit exceptional. This is the actual I-stem ending, and then in the plural we have kiwis, kiwis, kiwium, kiwis, kiwis. Those are the I-stem endings for masculine and feminine nouns in the plural. Moving on to a neuter I-stem. Now we haven't learned neuter I-stems, but I'm giving you an example here. The word animal, which means animal, just like in English, and this is a neuter I-stem. So we have animal, animal, animalis, animali, animali, animalia, animalima, animalium, animalibus, animalibus. Those are the neuter I-stem endings for the third declension. Again, the nominative and accusative don't have a clear ending, so I haven't indicated it. Okay? So we can gather together the endings of kiwis to represent masculine and feminine endings, and the endings of animal to represent neuter endings, and we can create a chart of the I-stem endings in Latin for singular and plural, masculine and feminine, neuter, and masculine and feminine plural, and neuter plural. A chart like that. They are the standard I-stem endings. Now let's put those next to each other. Up at the top here are the consonant-stem endings. Down here are the I-stem endings. If we look at them, there are actually very few places where they differ. Very, very few. They're almost the same. One place they differ is in the ablative singular. Consonant stems have E in the ablative singular. I stems usually have long I. In the plural, in the masculine and feminine accusative plural, we have a long ES for consonant stems and a long IS for I stems. And we have for the genitive plural and of consonant stems, and IUM for the genitive plural of I stems. And in the neuter, we have, in the consonant stems, A in the nominative and accusative plural, but we have ia in the plural, and finally, again, in the genitive, in the consonant stems, and in the I stems. So if I can just sum that up, here goes. These are the places where consonant stem endings vary from I stems, and these are the facts you will need for a quiz. All out of the singular. Consonant stems have E, I stems have long I. Masculine and feminine plural accusative. Long ES in consonant stems, long IS in I stems. Neuter plural nominative accusative, A in consonant stems, IA in I stems. And finally, all genitive plurals are different. And the genitive plurals are always different. In consonant stems and IUM in the I stems. And that's what I had to tell you about consonants and I stem endings. Thank you.
D-A-day, D-E-D, D-I-dicky-di, D-O-do, dicky-di, do, D-U-do, dicky-di, do, do. F-A-F-A, F-B-B, F-I, bicky-fi, F-O-Fo, bicky-fi, Fo, F-U-Foo, bicky-fi, Fo, Foo. G-A-J, G-E-G, G-I, jicky-ji, G-O-jo, jicky-ji, jo, G-U-Ju, jicky-ji, jo, ju.